I never thought a single night could break me, but that's exactly what happened. My name is Ethan Hale, and until that night, I believed my life was simple but meaningful. I worked hard at a small design studio, saved whatever I could, and dreamed about a future with the woman I loved, Lena Brooks. I thought love was enough. I thought she thought the same. I was wrong. When I came home that night, I was tired but happy. I had spent the whole day planning a surprise for her birthday next month. I wanted it to be perfect. A quiet dinner, a handmade gift, something from the heart. As I walked into our apartment, I heard her voice from the bedroom. She sounded annoyed, almost angry. "No, I can't keep doing this," she said. "I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of being poor." I froze. Poor? Was she talking about me? I stepped quietly to the hallway, my heart pounding. I didn't even breathe. "Yes, he's sweet," Lena continued, "but sweetness doesn't pay bills. I need someone who can give me the life I deserve. I can't waste my youth waiting for him to make it. I want more." Those words cut deeper than any blade. I felt something inside me crack open. I wanted to walk in, confront her, beg her to explain, but I couldn't move. I just stood there, listening to the woman I loved tell someone else that I wasn't enough. The person on the phone said something I couldn't hear, and she laughed, a sound I used to love. "No, he won't find out. Ethan never asks questions. He's too trusting." My chest tightened. I didn't know if I wanted to scream or disappear. Was I really that blind? That easy to fool? She ended the call, and I stepped back quickly so she wouldn't see me. I walked to the kitchen and forced myself to look normal, even though my hands were trembling. When she walked out, she didn't notice anything. "Hey," she said flatly, not even meeting my eyes. "Hey," I whispered. She sighed and leaned against the counter. "Ethan, we need to talk." Those 4 words always mean something bad. My stomach twisted. "I think we should take some space," she said. "I just need time to think about my life, about us." I stared at her, trying to process everything. "Space? Why now?" She shrugged. "I just feel stuck. I need to breathe." I wanted to tell her I heard everything, that I knew the truth. But the words stayed trapped in my throat. All I managed was, "Do you not love me anymore?" She didn't answer. She just looked away. That silence told me more than any explanation ever could. I nodded slowly, even though it felt like my heart was being ripped apart. "Okay," I said. "If that's what you want." Lena grabbed her bag and walked past me without another word. I watched the door close behind her, and in that moment the apartment felt colder than ever. I sank to the floor, my back against the cabinet, my hands in my hair. The woman I wanted to build a life with chose money over me. And I didn't even fight back. I stayed there for a long time, staring at nothing, trying to understand how love could turn into. My world didn't just fall apart. It collapsed piece by piece, leaving me alone with the truth I never wanted to face. I barely slept after hearing her phone call. My eyes burned and my chest felt tight, but I still hoped she'd change her mind. The next morning, Lena stood by the door with her suitcase. She didn't even look guilty. "Lena, what's going on?" I whispered. "I'm leaving," she said. "For good this time." My throat closed. "Why so suddenly? Can we at least talk?" "There's nothing left to talk about, Ethan," she replied. "I met someone who understands my value." My heart dropped. "Who?" "Adrian Cole." I felt like the floor moved under me. "The businessman? The guy everyone talks about?" She nodded. "He knows what he wants. He can give me the life I deserve. And I can't." My voice cracked. She looked at me with cold, tired eyes. "You can't even take care of yourself." "That's not fair, Lena." "I'm trying. I've always tried." "Trying isn't enough," she said. "I'm done struggling." I stepped closer. "Lena, please. We can fix this. Don't throw us away like this." She shook her head. "I already made my choice." "So that call last night, it was about him?" I whispered. She didn't deny it. She didn't say anything at all. My hands trembled. "Did you ever love me?" She looked at the wall instead of me. "I thought I did." "So everything we planned, everything we dreamed, you're just walking away?" "It wasn't real to me anymore," she said softly. "I'm sorry, Ethan, but I need more." I swallowed the anger and pain rising inside me. "More money." She flinched but didn't argue. "Goodbye, Ethan." Before I could say anything else, there was a knock on the door. Adrian Cole himself stood outside, tall, confident, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my rent. He didn't even acknowledge me. He just placed a hand on her back. "Ready?" he asked her. "Yes," she said. It felt like a blade sliding between my ribs. "Lena, don't do this," I begged. Please. Don't leave like this. Don't choose him over me. She stared right through me. I already did. Adrian smirked, pulled out his phone, and whispered something to her. She smiled at him, smiled in a way she hadn't smiled at me in months. My legs felt weak. At least tell me what I did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, she said. You're just not enough for me anymore. I couldn't breathe. And you're okay saying that to my face? She shrugged. It's better than lying. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was Mason calling. I ignored it and watched her walk toward Adrian's car. Lena, I said one last time. She didn't turn around. When the door shut behind them, I felt something inside me collapse. I followed them outside, desperate, shaking. Lena, please just talk to me. Adrian rolled down the window. Move on, kid. I clenched my fist. She was my life. She chose a better one, he said. The car pulled away. I stood in the cold air, watching the taillights fade. My phone buzzed again. Mason's voice came through the moment I answered. Ethan? What happened? Your voice sounds broken. She left, I whispered. She left with him. Mason didn't speak for a few seconds. Then he said, I'm coming over. Don't do anything stupid. I hung up and stared at my reflection in a nearby window, hollow eyes, shaking hands, a man who just lost everything. Lena didn't just walk away. She walked away with the part of me I didn't know how to get back. For 3 days I didn't leave my room. I barely ate. I barely spoke. My phone stayed face down on the table, but the silence inside me was louder than anything. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice saying she needed someone who understood her value. It replayed until I felt like I was going crazy. My mom knocked on the door on the 3rd morning. Ethan? Sweetheart, are you okay? I'm fine, I lied. You haven't eaten anything. I'm not hungry. She stepped inside anyway. Talk to me. Please. I can't, I whispered. I don't even know how. She sat beside me, worry all over her face. Is it about Lena? I didn't answer, but she knew. She touched my arm gently. Ethan, people leave. It hurts, but you will heal. Not this time, I said. Not this kind of pain. Before she could say more, my phone rang. Mason. I sighed and picked it up. Yeah. His voice hit me like a jolt. Open the door. I'm outside. I dragged myself up and let him in. He stared at me and shook his head. Man, you look like hell. I feel worse. He dropped onto the couch. Tell me everything. I sat across from him. She left me for Adrian Cole. He whistled low. The millionaire dude? Yeah. He leaned forward. What did she say? I swallowed. That I wasn't enough for her. That she wanted a better life. Mason rubbed his face. Damn. Ethan, listen to me. You didn't lose anything important. It feels like I lost everything. You escaped, he said firmly. You don't lose people like her. You escape them. I stared at him. Escape. Yes, he said. You loved her. She loved money. How long do you think that relationship was going to survive? You just got saved from a lifetime of being second place to her greed. His words hit something inside me, something raw and hidden. Ethan, he continued, you're broken now, but you're not done. You're one of the smartest guys I know. You have talent. You have drive. You have a good heart. Don't let someone like Lena convince you that you're worthless. I felt my chest tighten. Then why does it still hurt so much? Because you cared, he said. And she didn't. I closed my eyes. His words echoed in my head, sharp, true, painful. Ethan, Mason said quietly, rise from this. Don't drown in it. Something inside me shifted, like a spark catching fire. I opened my eyes and took a slow breath. I don't want to feel weak anymore. Then don't, he said. Stand up. Change. Become someone even you never expected. I clenched my fist. I swear. I'll rise. I'll change everything about my life. Mason smiled. That's what I wanted to hear. That night I stared at myself in the mirror. For the first time since Lena left, I didn't see a broken man. I saw someone who could rise from the ashes. I whispered to myself, I will never let anyone treat me like I'm worthless again. For the first time in days I felt something other than pain. I felt fire. I hit rock bottom 2 weeks after Lena left. I was sitting in a small cafe near my old workplace, staring at a cold cup of coffee, wondering how my life had fallen apart so fast. My mind felt heavy, like something was pressing down on it from the inside. You look like a man who hasn't slept in days, someone said. I looked up. An older man with gray hair and sharp eyes stood at my table. He wore a simple blazer, nothing too fancy, but he carried himself like someone who knew what he wanted. Sorry, I said quietly. Didn't mean to look miserable in public. He gave a small smile. Mind if I sit? I shrugged. Go ahead. He sat down. My name's Thomas Grant. I've seen you here a few times. You always have a notebook with code or sketches. You working on something? I blinked. Just ideas. They don't matter much. Everything matters if it's in the right hands, he said. What do you do? I'm a designer, I answered. Well, I quit after some personal crap. He studied my face. Heartbreak. It shows that much? It always does, he said gently. For a moment I didn't speak. Then he said something that made my chest tighten. You're too young to look this defeated. What happened? I exhaled slowly. Someone I trusted threw me away. He nodded like he understood the pain without me explaining further. Sometimes people walk out so better things can walk in. I gave a weak laugh. Nothing good has walked in yet. Maybe I'm here for that reason, he said. I frowned. What do you mean? I run a growing tech startup. We need people who think differently. People who don't quit when life punches them in the gut. He leaned forward. I've watched you sketch in that notebook. You have talent. And drive. I can see it. I stared at him, stunned. You want me to work for you? Yes. Just like that. Just like that, he said. But only if you're ready to rebuild. My hands shook under the table. I don't know if I'm strong enough. He smiled. Strength isn't something you wait for. It's something you choose. His words hit me deeper than he knew. I took a breath. Okay, I'll do it. Good, he said. Come by the office tomorrow morning. I'll introduce you to the team. When he stood up to leave, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks, a spark of hope. Thank you, I said softly. He nodded. Don't thank me yet. Prove me right first. The next day, I walked into his company with nervous steps. The place was bright, modern, filled with energy. That's where I met her, Chloe Grant, his daughter. She smiled warmly. You must be Ethan. My dad talks about you. I swallowed. All good things, I hope. Relax, she laughed. He thinks you're brilliant. Brilliant. No one had used that word for me in a long time. As she showed me around, I felt something shift inside me. I wasn't healed. I wasn't whole. But for the first time since Lena left, I didn't feel completely broken. Mr. Grant didn't go easy on me. The first morning, he clapped his hands and said, if you want to grow, you're going to sweat for it. I'm ready, I answered even though my voice shook. Good, he said. Because I'm not training you to be average. Every day felt like boot camp. He pushed me on strategy, design precision, pitching ideas, handling pressure. When I fumbled, he never softened his tone. You're thinking small again, he'd say. I'm trying, I'd mutter. Try harder. Chloe was different. She caught me staring hopelessly at my laptop one afternoon and slid into the chair beside me. You're drowning, she said. I'm fine, I lied. She laughed softly. You're terrible at lying. What's wrong? I hesitated. I keep hearing this voice in my head telling me I'm not good enough. Whose voice? She asked gently. I swallowed. Someone who left. She nodded slowly. Then replace that voice with your own. I sighed. Easier said than done. That's why I'm here, she said. Say it, I'm not weak. I shook my head. Chloe. Say it. I'm not weak. Louder. I'm not weak, I repeated, feeling something warm flicker inside me. Good, she said, smiling. Again tomorrow. But no matter how busy I got, Lena still haunted me. Especially at night. Especially when silence made every memory louder. Then one afternoon, Mason burst into my messages. Bro, don't check Adrian's profile. Of course, I checked it instantly. A picture. Adrian in a luxury car, Lena leaning on his shoulder. Her caption. Finally with someone who knows my worth. My stomach twisted. Of course, I whispered. Chloe walked by and noticed my face. What happened now? I turned the screen toward her. She frowned. That's her? That's her, I said quietly. And that's the guy she left you for? Yep. She raised an eyebrow. He looks like he pays to compensate for personality. A laugh escaped me before I could stop it. You're not supposed to say that. What? It's true. She crossed her arms. Does seeing this make you want her back? No, I said immediately. It makes me want to become someone who would never beg for people like that. Chloe studied me. Good. Anger is useful if you steer it. Mr. Grant joined us moments later, noticing the tension. Bad news? No, I said, straightening. Just motivation. He smiled knowingly. Then use it. You have the potential to outrun every ghost chasing you. That night, I sat alone in the office after everyone left. The screen's glow hit my face as I whispered to myself, I won't let them break me again. My reflection in the monitor looked different. Still tired, still scarred, but sharper. For the first time, I didn't feel like a victim of what happened. I felt like the beginning of something new. I felt like someone learning to stand again. Months passed and I could feel myself changing. Not just emotionally but in the way I carried myself. Every day Mr. Grant pushed me harder. Ethan, you're ready for the Lawson account, he said one morning. Already? I asked, surprised. Yes, I trust you. Don't let me down, he added, his eyes sharp but approving. I won't, I said, swallowing the nervous knot in my stomach. Chloe peeked into the office. Big day. I nodded. Mr. Grant thinks I'm ready for my first major client. She smiled. You are. Don't doubt yourself. Her confidence in me was like a shield I didn't know I needed. Later that afternoon, I sat across from the Lawson executives, my hands steady, my mind clear. I've prepared a complete redesign of your product line, I said, clicking through the slides. Interesting, one executive said. Explain the reasoning behind your concept. I explained calmly now. No hesitation. Each point was precise, each answer backed with logic. When I finished, the room was silent. This is impressive, another executive said. We'd like to move forward with your proposal. I almost laughed out loud. Me, Ethan Hale, closing a deal this big. Back at the office, Nathan leaned against my desk. Damn kid. You killed it. Thanks, I said, still trying to catch my breath. You've got talent, he continued. Stick with it and you'll go far. I nodded, feeling a spark of pride. I won't waste the opportunity. Chloe came by later that day, handing me a cup of coffee. I saw the post online. People are noticing your work. I sipped, smiling genuinely for the first time in months. Feels weird to feel good again. Good doesn't mean you're soft, she said, teasing. It means you're alive. I laughed softly. Alive. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Over the next few weeks, I noticed small changes. The office seemed warmer, more welcoming. Colleagues who had barely spoken to me before now greeted me with respect. Nathan shared tips, Chloe offered guidance, and even Mr. Grant's rare smiles felt like trophies. One evening, Chloe said, You're different, Ethan. I can see it in your eyes. That fire that used to hurt you, now it's driving you. I looked at her. I don't know if it's fire yet, but it's something. Keep fanning it, she said, smiling. That night, I stared at my reflection in the mirror at my apartment. The hollow, broken look I once knew was fading. I was standing taller, moving with purpose. My hands were no longer trembling when I spoke, and my voice didn't crack when I made decisions. I whispered to myself, I'm not done. This is only the beginning. The next morning, Mr. Grant handed me a new project. Ethan, this one's on you. Entirely. I nodded. Understood. He studied me. Remember, it's not just about skill. It's about how you carry yourself. I've got this, I said firmly. Chloe walked past and gave me a wink. I know you do. I smiled, a real smile this time. Confidence coursed through me like a river. I realized I wasn't the boy who cried over Lena anymore. I was building something stronger than heartbreak. Money, recognition, respect. They were no longer distant dreams. They were becoming real. And me? I was finally becoming someone who could take it all without fear. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly, and whispered, This is just the beginning. For the first time in months, I felt unstoppable. I woke up before my alarm, something I never used to do. The air felt different, lighter somehow. When I reached the office, people nodded at me like I belonged among them. Nathan waved me over. Big day, champ. You ready for the board briefing? I think so, I said, even though my stomach twisted. He laughed. That's the spirit. Confidence with a touch of fear, that's how you grow. As we walked down the hall, Chloe appeared beside me. Hey, she said softly. You're going to do great. You always say that, I replied. Because it's always true, she answered, nudging my arm. Inside the conference room, the board members waited. For a second, I saw flashes of the old me, the boy who lost everything when Lena left. My hands used to shake. Now they didn't. Begin when you're ready, Mr. Grant said. I'm ready, I replied. And for once I meant it. I walked them through the new expansion strategy. Market analysis, projections, risk outlines. Questions flew at me. I answered every one. The old me would have crumbled. This version stood tall. When it ended, Mr. Grant approached. "You handled yourself well, Ethan." "Thank you, sir," I said, trying not to smile too widely. "Keep this up and I'll have bigger responsibilities for you, very soon." My heart thumped. Bigger responsibilities meant bigger trust. And bigger trust meant a future I never imagined. Outside, Chloe practically bounced. "See? I told you." "You did," I admitted. "Feels unreal." "It's real," she said. "You made it real." I didn't know why her words hit me so deeply. Maybe because no one had ever said them like that, like I actually deserved this. Later that evening, I scrolled through my phone and froze. A picture of Lena appeared on my feed. Her hand rested on Adrian's chest. Diamonds everywhere. A caption underneath, "Living the life I deserve." I stared at it, waiting for the ache, the anger, the collapse. But instead I felt nothing. Just emptiness slowly replaced by a strange calm. Nathan looked over my shoulder. "Oh, that's your ex, right?" "Yeah." "She's flaunting, man. People do that when they're trying too hard." I put my phone away. "I don't care anymore." "Good," he said, patting my back. "Because you're flying higher than both of them." As I walked to my car, I whispered to myself, "I'm not who she left behind." And I wasn't. Later that night, Chloe called. Her voice was warm, too warm. "Are you okay?" "Yeah." "Why?" "I saw the post. Thought it might bother you." "It didn't," I said. "Good," she whispered. "Because you deserve more than pain." There was a pause, soft, loaded, unfamiliar. "Chloe." "Yes." "Thanks for being here." "I'm not going anywhere," she replied. And something inside me shifted again, not fire this time, not rage. Something gentler. Something I wasn't ready to name. Before sleeping, I stood by the window, looking at the city glowing like a promise. "My world fell apart once," I whispered. "Now it's rebuilding itself." And I felt it, really felt it. My rise wasn't luck. It wasn't revenge. It was transformation. And the world was finally turning around. I was reviewing reports in my office when Nathan rushed in, breathing hard like he'd just run a marathon. "Ethan, you're not going to believe who's downstairs." I didn't look up. "If it's another investor wanting the proposal early, tell them." "It's Lena." My pen froze. For a moment the room felt too small. "What?" I whispered. "She's downstairs," he repeated. "And she's asking for you." I leaned back, breathing slowly. "What does she want?" "I don't know. But she looks messed up." A strange calm settled over me. I stood and said, "Fine. Let's get this over with." As I walked to the lobby, memories tried clawing their way out. Her voice, her laughter, the night she told me I wasn't enough. But I wasn't that man anymore. She stood near the glass doors, looking smaller than I remembered. When she saw me, her eyes widened. "Ethan, hi." I nodded. "Lena, why are you here?" I needed to talk to you." "Please." I crossed my arms. "Talk." She swallowed hard. "Can we go somewhere private?" "No," I said. "Say it here." She looked around, embarrassed. "Fine. Things with Adrian aren't good." I kept my face still. "That sounds like a you problem." "Please don't be like that," she whispered. "I made mistakes." I laughed quietly. "Only now you see them?" Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't know he would change. He's not who I thought he was." "And I wasn't what you wanted," I replied. "You said it clearly." "That was a stupid moment," she began. "No. It was an honest one," I said. "You chose wealth. You made it very clear." She stepped closer. "But look at you now. You're different, successful, confident. I didn't know you had this in you." "I always had it in me," I said sharply. "You just never cared to see it." She shook her head, voice trembling. "Ethan, please, can we start over? I miss you." I stared at her, letting silence stretch until she fidgeted. "Lena," I said slowly, "you didn't lose me. You threw me away." She reached for my hand. I stepped back. "You don't understand," she said, desperate. "Adrian, he used me. He made promises and broke them. He's controlling. That's between you and him," I cut in. "Not my concern." Her lip trembled. "I thought you would at least care a little." "I did," I said. "Too much. But not anymore." Tears streamed down her face. "I was wrong about you, about everything." "I know," I replied. "But your regret isn't my responsibility." She looked at me like the world had just collapsed under her feet. And maybe it had. Karma has strange timing. Is there someone else? She asked suddenly. The thought of Chloe's smile flickered in my mind, gentle and warm. That's none of your business, I answered. Lena wiped her tears. So this is it? After everything, you won't even give me a chance to explain? You explained enough the night you left, I said. You wanted a man with money. So why are you here now? She opened her mouth, but no words came. I nodded. Exactly. She broke down, covering her face with her hands. People in the lobby pretended not to watch. I took a step back. Goodbye, Lena. As I turned, she whispered, Ethan, please? I didn't stop. I didn't look back. Outside, the wind hit my face, cold but freeing. Nathan caught up with me. You okay, man? Yeah, I said. For the first time, I actually am. He smiled. Proud of you. I exhaled, feeling something lift off my shoulders. The past had returned. But it no longer owned me. When I got back to my office, my hands were still shaking, not from sadness, but from the strange calm that filled me after facing Lena. Nathan shut the door behind us. Man, he said, that was intense. You handled it better than I thought. I rubbed my face. I didn't handle anything. I just told the truth. That's handling it, he said. You didn't break. You didn't go back. That's strength. I leaned against my desk. I thought seeing her again would destroy me. Instead, it felt like watching a chapter close. Nathan nodded and sat across from me. Sometimes closure doesn't come with a bow. Sometimes it comes crying in your lobby. I couldn't help but laugh. Yeah, pretty much. There was a knock. Chloe peeked inside. Hey, is everything okay? She asked softly. Nathan stood. I'll give you a minute, he said before slipping out. Chloe stepped closer. I saw someone leaving the building in tears. Was that someone you know? Yeah, I said. Someone from my past. She hesitated. Do you want to talk about it? I sighed. Not really, but I guess I should. She sat beside me. I'm listening. It was Lena, I said. The girl who left me for someone richer. Her eyes softened. Oh, Ethan. She came back. Said she made a mistake. Asked for another chance. Chloe looked right at me. And what did you say? I told her no. A small smile formed on her lips. Good. I raised a brow. You sound very sure about that. If she could throw you away once, she said gently, she could do it again. People who love money more than love don't really change. Her words hit deeper than she knew. I used to think losing her meant losing everything, I said. Turns out it was the start of everything. Chloe's voice lowered. I'm glad you see that now. There was a silence, comfortable, not awkward. She suddenly asked, Are you okay? Really? I think I'm lighter, I said. Almost like I've been carrying a ghost. She smiled. Then today was good for you. I nodded. Yeah, I guess it was. She stood. Well, if you need anything, you know where my office is. Before she left, I said, Chloe? She turned. Yeah, thanks for being here. Her cheeks warmed slightly. Always. When she left, I sat alone, letting the quiet sink in. For once, the silence didn't hurt. A moment later, my phone buzzed. Mason. I answered. Hey. Bro, he said. Nathan told me she came back. You good? I'm fine, I said. Better than fine. What did she want? Another chance. He snorted. Let me guess, you laughed in her face. Something like that. That's my guy, he said. Proud as hell of you. I leaned back. Feels strange. I thought if she ever came back I'd break. Because you were still healing back then, he replied. Now you're building. You're not the same dude she left. Yeah, I whispered. I'm really not. Mason cleared his throat. So, how's things with Chloe? I hesitated. We're just talking. She's been helping a lot. Helping your brain or your heart? He teased. Shut up, I said, but I smiled. I'm just saying, he laughed. Don't block your blessings. After I hung up, I looked around my office, the one I'd earned through pain, work, and growth. My past had tried to walk back into my life. And I finally had the strength to shut the door. I whispered to myself, this is my life now. My rise. My path. For the first time, I actually believed it. I didn't expect her to reach out. Her message came late in the evening. Can we meet? I need to talk. My first instinct was to ignore it. But curiosity, or maybe closure, nudged me to reply. Where? The cafe she suggested was quiet, dimly lit. I arrived first, heart calm, mind clear. She walked in, hesitant, eyes wide, lips trembling. "Ethan," she whispered. "Lena," I said evenly, gesturing to the seat across from me. She sat, biting her lip. I messed up. I made the worst mistake of my life." I studied her carefully. The glamour she carried with Adrian was gone. She looked fragile, real, vulnerable. I shouldn't have left you," she continued, her voice shaking. "I thought I wanted more, money, status. I thought I'd be happier. But I wasn't. None of it mattered. Not without you." I exhaled slowly. "Is that why you're here?" She nodded, tears forming. "Please. I want another chance. Just one. I can't stop thinking about you." I held up a hand. "Stop. Don't touch me." "But Ethan." "No," my tone was firm, calm. "You left. You chose money over me. That choice, it's not something you can undo by saying sorry." Her hands trembled on the table. She reached for mine like she used to, and I flinched slightly. "Please, just one touch. One moment." I pulled my hand back. "That moment is gone. I've changed, Lena. I'm not the same man you walked away from." Her eyes filled with panic and regret. "I didn't understand, I swear. I never meant to hurt you." "I know," I said softly. "But intention doesn't erase consequences. You chose your life and now you're living with it." She sniffled, shoulders shaking. I need you. I can't live like this without you." "I'm not here to fix your life," I said. "I've spent months rebuilding mine. You're a part of my past, Lena. A chapter I've closed." She fell silent, tears slipping freely down her cheeks. Her voice cracked. "So, you won't forgive me?" I shook my head gently. "Forgiveness doesn't mean taking you back. It means I'm free from the anger, the hurt. And I am." She buried her face in her hands. "Ethan." "Goodbye, Lena," I said quietly. I stood, my steps deliberate, calm. The power I felt wasn't about her leaving, it was about me choosing my peace. I walked away, leaving her sitting there, crying, reaching for something that no longer existed. For the first time, I didn't feel anger, didn't feel longing, didn't feel heartbreak. I felt calm. I felt distance. I felt free. And that was more than enough. I saw her standing near the park, hesitant, eyes red from crying. "Lena." My chest tightened for a brief moment, but I knew this time I wouldn't falter. "Ethan," she whispered, stepping forward. "Lena," I said evenly, keeping my distance. I can't stop thinking about you." "I need you back," she said, voice trembling. I shook my head slowly. "No, Lena. You don't get it. I loved you when you had nothing. You left me when I had nothing. And now." I took a deep breath. "Now I have everything, but my heart no longer belongs to you." Her hands flew to her face. "Ethan, please." "No," I said firmly. "I'm done being the man you walk over, the one you discard for convenience. That man is gone." She sank to a bench, shaking, tears streaming. I made a mistake. I can't live without you." "I'm not here to save you," I said, voice steady. "I rebuilt myself without you. You chose your life, Lena. Now you face your consequences." Her shoulders trembled. "Ethan, I never realized. I thought I was making the right choice. But I was wrong." I sighed softly. "I know. That's the thing about choices, they have a price. And I'm done paying for yours." She looked up at me, pleading, desperate. "But I love you. I always have." I shook my head gently, a small, sad smile forming. "Love isn't enough when trust is gone. You left. I waited. I rebuilt. And now, my heart has moved forward. It's no longer yours to hold." Her head dropped, sobs breaking through. She finally realized that her words, her tears, couldn't change anything. I turned to walk away, chest heavy but calm. My steps were deliberate. Each one felt like reclaiming a part of myself I'd thought was lost. "Ethan," she called one last time, but I didn't look back. When I reached Mason, he clapped me lightly on the shoulder. "Man, I'm proud of you. You held your ground." I nodded, feeling the weight lift off my shoulders. "Thanks, Mason. It's not just about pride. It's about finally being free." Later, at home, my mother wrapped me in a warm hug. "I always believed in you," she whispered. "I know, Mom," I said, letting myself lean into her embrace. "It feels good to finally make my own peace." I looked around my apartment, everything in order, everything mine. Not just the money or the success, but my mind, my heart, my strength. For the first time in months, I smiled without hesitation. Without regret. without a shadow of the past haunting me. I had lost someone once, but I gained myself back. And this time I wouldn't let anyone take it away. My heart stayed firm. I sat at my new office, sunlight streaming through the glass walls. It felt unreal sometimes. This wasn't the Ethan who spent months broken, staring at his reflection wondering if he'd ever matter again. Ethan. Chloe called as she walked in holding 2 coffees. Don't tell me you've already been staring at the skyline again. I laughed softly. Maybe. It's different from what I imagined, but I like it. She handed me a cup. Different is good. It suits you. I took a sip thinking about how far I'd come. You know, I never thought I'd get here. Not like this. Chloe leaned against the desk. You didn't get here by thinking. You got here by refusing to stay down. You fought. Yeah, I said quietly looking out the window. Months ago I was a broken man. And now, I smiled shaking my head. Now Mr. Grant just made me a partner. Chloe's eyes widened. Partner? That's huge. It is, I admitted. It's more than I expected when I first started. More than I could have imagined after everything. She smiled warmly. You earned it. You survived. You rebuilt. You grew. I nodded, letting the words sink in. You know, I thought I was rising for revenge at first. I thought I wanted to show Lena what she lost to make her regret. But it wasn't about her. It's never been about her. Chloe tilted her head. Then why? Because I deserved better, I said, voice steady. I deserved to be respected, to be valued, to be someone who could stand without depending on anyone else's approval. She smiled, her gaze softening. And you are that someone now. I laughed softly. I am learning to be. And I've got the right people around me. You've been one of them. Her cheeks flushed slightly. I've been here because I wanted to see you succeed, not just professionally but as yourself. I looked at her, heart skipping. As myself. Yes, she said, shrugging with a small smile. The person I've known was buried under hurt and heartbreak. Now he's here. Clear, confident, and unstoppable. I reached across the desk, lightly brushing her hand. And maybe, someone I can trust completely. She looked at me, eyes searching mine, and gave a small nod. Maybe. I leaned back in my chair, taking a deep breath. It's strange, isn't it? How pain can either break you, or push you to build something better. Strange, she agreed softly. I thought of everything I'd survived. Betrayal, heartbreak, humiliation, self-doubt. And yet here I was, stronger, wiser, unshakable. I realized now that I didn't rise for revenge, or to prove anything to anyone. I rose because I deserved a life that didn't depend on anyone else's choices, because I had fought to be my own person. And finally, I was free. I'm glad I'm not that broken man anymore, I said quietly, smiling at Chloe. Neither am I, she said, squeezing my hand. And in that moment, looking at her, at my office, at my life, I knew it was true. I had built this life for myself, and no one could take it away. I didn't expect her to appear again. Not after everything. Yet there she was, standing in the lobby of my office building, eyes wide, lips trembling. Lena. Ethan, please, she started, voice soft but urgent. I raised a hand, stopping her before she could take another step. Lena. My tone was calm, measured. This is the last time we do this. Her eyes welled up and she reached out as if trying to grab hold of the man I used to be. I can't let you go. I need you. You don't need me, I interrupted gently. You never did. Not when it mattered. You chose money over love, over us. That's your decision. I'm done carrying the weight of your choices. But Ethan, she pleaded, her voice breaking. I was wrong. I can fix it. I can make you happy. Please, just one chance. I shook my head, a small, resolute smile forming. No, Lena. I'm not the boy who cried for you anymore. That boy doesn't exist. He broke, he begged, he waited while you made your choice. He's gone. Tears streamed down her face. She fell to her knees, desperate. Please, don't do this. I can't lose you. I love you. I stepped closer, crouching slightly to meet her gaze. I understand. I get it now. But I am not yours to control, to manipulate, or to reclaim. That part of me is gone. I've built a life, a future, a self that doesn't need you. She shook, shaking her head violently. I don't understand. I thought I could have it all. You did, I said softly. You have wealth, luxury, attention. But you don't have me. And the man I've become. I don't belong to anyone who would walk away when things got hard. I don't belong to you. She fell silent, trembling, realizing there was nothing left to argue with, nothing left to bargain for. I stood, straightened my shoulders and took a step back. My heart was steady. My mind was clear. The chaos, the longing, the heartbreak, they were all behind me. I had survived. I had grown. I had risen. Chloe appeared then, smiling softly, holding out her hand. "Ready?" she asked. I nodded, taking her hand. Warmth spread through me, calm and grounding. I turned my gaze forward, away from Lena, away from the past. Lena whispered something, maybe a final plea, but I didn't respond. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. For the first time in my life, I felt completely free. Not angry, not hurt, not desperate. Just solid. Strong. Whole. I squeezed Chloe's hand lightly, letting the future stretch before us, wide and unbroken. The city hummed around us, indifferent and alive as it always had. And I knew with absolute certainty that nothing could shake the man I had become. "She chose money over love," I whispered softly, letting the words linger. "But now, I'm the man she can't afford to lose, and the man I no longer need to be." I breathed deeply, letting the weight of the past fall away completely. And for the first time, I walked forward without fear, without regret, without hesitation. The boy who cried for love was gone. The man who stood beside Chloe, calm, confident, and free, he was all that remained. And that was enough.